Hi everyone. I'm Pastor Simon Curgenven and I'm the area leader for AOG Wales in the north. And I'm on the team with Dale, and so he's asked me to bring a devotion for you because you've been looking through the book of Proverbs. And so we're on chapter 26 today, and it's great that I've got this opportunity to share with you. I hope these few minutes that we're going to spend together will inspire you and fill you with hope for the day ahead. Proverbs 26 is a great chapter as King Solomon lays out for us his wisdom, his energy, his enthusiasm, and this communication that he's got in this chapter is particularly visual. Just look at the way in which he illustrates his truth. He uses words: snow, sparrows, whips, poison, thorns, archery, sick dogs, lions, doors, fire, pits, stones. And all these objects are so easily visualized, and it's because Solomon wants to make divine wisdom easily understood. He wants people to go, yeah, I get that. So let's have a look at it. Verses 1 to 12 are written to cover the topic of how do we respond to people whose behavior needs some work on it. I mean, Solomon writes, how do we deal with fools? I wanted to be a bit more discreet. 11 times he uses the word fool, and he's really strong in his advice to us, and I wouldn't recommend that you take his words literally in our day or you'll get into trouble. You can't go around beating up people who you think are fools with sticks, and that's not wise, and it goes against what he's trying to help us with. What he's trying to do is helping us to see that there are some people who we can't just let say what they want or do what they want into our lives without having some consequences. So like in verse 4 he says, do not answer a fool, but in verse 5 he says, answer a fool. So is he being contradictory here? No, he's telling us you can't have one tool in your toolbox. You have to ask yourself, what would love have me do here today? Sometimes you need to speak up and address an issue, and other times you need to have the grace to be silent and let it go. Sometimes you can overlook an offence, other times you have to make the gravity of the offence heavier so they'll understand the lesson that they need to learn. Verse 11 stands out as one that needs a comment on it today. Talking about a dog going back to its vomit. And I wonder how many times have you and I gone back and repeated the same thing, the same mistake, the same behaviour over and over again. Yep, I think we've all been there. Wisdom tells us to make mistakes quickly and make them once. And we become a fool when we don't learn as fast as we should. So is there a mistake today that you keep making? Well, I suggest that you stop making that same mistake and don't repeat the same thing next time. From verse 13, Solomon switches direction and wants us to look at the lazy person. And we might need a little of his advice today, as lockdown lethargy can erode our spiritual passion as well as our daily energy. He warns us with signs of apathy and rumour mongering and teaches us to beware a person who is confident in their own eyes but accomplishes very little. Verse 18 is one of my favourite proverbs, and I'm so glad it's in this chapter 26. Let me read it out to you. It says, like a maniac shooting flaming arrows of death is one who deceives their neighbour and says, I was only joking. I think he's trying to tell us here we need to be really wise in how we speak and how we act. For the rest of the chapter, Solomon addresses an area that all of us need to pay attention to: how we use our words to build up or put down others. The New Testament writer James also uses some of Solomon's vivid imagery as he writes to us in his New Testament letter to show us what we say really matters. To summarise these verses, he says, speak truthfully. Don't inflame a situation by speaking out rashly. Don't cover up by saying one thing but meaning another. And don't use your words to exaggerate in order to make yourself look good to someone else. This chapter is a tall order for Christ followers to live out their lives genuinely in a circumstances or in a culture that loves its glossy plastic outlook. It's a call for you and I to go against the flow and speak words of truth with a kind and loving spirit. That way, the Christ that is so far from people's minds gets to be seen in our words, in our behaviour, and in our attitudes. Well, that's my time up, Hope Church. I hope it's been a blessing to you. God bless, and we'll see you soon one day. Bye-bye.